Hi guys, welcome back to Raw Synergy TV. I'm so excited because it's my 6-year Raw Vegan anniversary. 6 years ago yesterday, I made the very empowering, powerful decision to stop eating animals and to stop cooking my food. And what a difference those changes have made in my life. I'm really excited to share my blood results with you today. It's been 2 years since I've had comprehensive blood work done, and I really want to share those results with you because I think it's really important for everyone to see that you can get everything that you need without eating animals and without cooking your food. I also want to share the results of my B12 and vitamin D retesting. And I really want to share my results of my iodine test because I just had that redone and the results are so interesting. I think you guys are going to find this so interesting and you're going to see why it's so important to work with an iodine specialist. Starting off with my comprehensive blood work, there's only a couple of things that were out of range, but they weren't so out of range that it's a big concern. Everything looks really good. My protein looks good. All of my other levels look great. The only things that are out of range that I find interesting or remarkable are my carbon dioxide levels, which were only off by 1 point. Same with my serum chloride level. It was low, but it was only 2 points lower than the average levels. As always, my bun and creatinine serum were low. This is very typical with vegans because these tests are based on the average person who eats a lot of protein. The standard person eats way more protein than they need, so their averages are going to be a lot higher. So for a vegan, it's totally normal for your bun levels and your creatinine levels to be low. I thought it was very interesting that my LDL cholesterol was 2 points above the average level, so it showed up as high. I've never had any issues with my cholesterol before, although I think when I first got tested, my cholesterol levels were considered low, and I think they were only a couple points below the average. So I wanted to share something that I found online because I think this really sums it up nicely. I was looking up what it meant to have high carbon dioxide levels. And I found on IntelliHealth.com by Dr. Howard Lewine. He's an MD, chief editor of Internet Publishing for Harvard Health Publications. And he says this about carbon dioxide. It says carbon dioxide is a gas that dissolves in the blood. Dissolved carbon dioxide helps to neutralize acid. Measuring carbon dioxide in a blood test can provide information about the blood's acid level or pH. A blood carbon dioxide level that's much higher than normal can be seen with a number of medical conditions. These include severe breathing problems such as emphysema, vomiting for a long period of time, taking high doses of diuretics or antacids, certain hormone conditions that cause acids to leak into the urine, and low blood levels of potassium. There's probably nothing wrong when the carbon dioxide level is just a point or two outside of the normal range. Hey, that's me. That's particularly true if your test turned up abnormal on otherwise routine blood work, which is what mine was, just routine blood work. This raises an interesting question. What defines an abnormal result on a lab test? Some tests are abnormal because there is a clear link between that result and a known health condition. For example, high levels of lead in the bloodstream are known to produce lead poisoning. But for other tests, the normal range is determined statistically by performing the test in a large population. The average value plus a certain buffer zone defines what is normal. For those trained in statistics, this buffer is typically 2 standard deviations on either side of the mean. For example, the normal range for carbon dioxide is calculated by looking at average levels in a large group of otherwise healthy people. The bottom line, abnormal means you are not in the average range, but it doesn't always mean there is a problem. Some healthy people will simply have carbon dioxide levels that are slightly higher or lower than average. Another quirky statistical fact is that a typical person is likely to have 1 or more abnormal values when they have a large number of blood tests. Simply put, it is hard to be average on every test. It may be alarming to see an abnormal label on one of your test results, but you can rest assured that this may simply be normal. So I think it's important for everyone to hear that, because you may not always have every test come up in the average range, like mine. However, looking at these, there's nothing way off the charts out of balance. My last video on blood work was about my low vitamin D levels and the issues that I was having by not supplementing with vitamin B12. My vitamin D levels were extremely low, and when I had them tested, the average range was between 32 and 100 ng/ml, and I was at a 10, and that's really scary low. When I got retested, I went through a different blood lab, so their levels, instead of being 32 to 100 being average, their levels are between 30 and 100 ng/ml. And I am all the way up to 55.9, and that's with supplementing with vitamin D for over a year. So I'm really excited about getting my levels back up, and I will happily continue supplementing with vitamin D. I live in Southern California. I'm in the sun a lot, and it was crazy to learn that my vitamin D levels were that low, even though I live where I live and I'm in the sun. And my vitamin B12, my UMMA tests came out right where they need to be, and I will just continue supplementing with vitamin B12. I've been supplementing every single day, and I have no problems with supplementing. I'm happy to supplement so that I don't have to worry about being low or having any issues. Now, the most interesting part of the whole testing process so far has been having my iodine levels checked. One of the reasons why I'm really excited about sharing these particular results with you today is because it's going to explain to you why it's so important to have guidance, especially with this particular nutrient. When I was originally tested on November 26th of 2013, my levels looked like they were pretty close to being right on. I had an 84% sufficiency rate based on the test. The original test that I had done showed that I excreted 42 milligrams of iodine in a 24-hour period, and the more you excrete, it means generally that your body has enough of the supplement and doesn't need to take in any more. So if I had just looked at this and not consulted with Dawn, I would have thought, hey, I'm pretty good. I'm doing all right. I don't really need to supplement. I can continue on the path that I'm moving on and not have an issue. On May 19th, I was tested again. Whoa, my levels dropped to 60% sufficiency rate, and I was only excreting 29 milligrams in a 24-hour period. Very interesting. My levels went way, way down. Well, are my levels dropping down even though I'm supplementing with therapeutic doses? 2 months later, I had another test done, and now I'm down to 47% sufficiency rate and secreting only 23 milligrams in a 24-hour period. Whoa! What's happening? Well, what's happening is when you have so much bromine and fluoride in your body, it blocks the absorption of iodine. So you're not absorbing what your body needs, and it's skewing your results. So you're getting these results that are saying, hey, you're kind of right where, almost close to where you need to be, but really you're not, because the bromine and the fluoride are affecting your test scores or your test levels. But then once you start getting therapeutic doses into your body and you start detoxing the bromine and the fluoride out of your system, now your body can start absorbing the iodine, and your levels can start showing up more accurately on the test. So that's what was happening with me. Now, when I was retested again this month, on March 18th, I retested again, and my levels went back up after supplementing for 8 months. Now suddenly I'm back up to where I actually really should be, at 84%. My levels are showing up more accurately because I've got the bromine and the fluoride out of my body. I've detoxed it out, and now I can absorb the iodine and I can get an accurate test result. So this is one of the big reasons why it's so helpful to work with someone like Don, so that you can have accurate guidance and he can give you the right dosage of the amount of iodine that you need to be taking. He can give you the right protocols to take when you start having the detox reactions. And you wouldn't otherwise know this if you're just trying to do this all on your own. It's kind of a tricky process. Another reason why you don't want to do this alone is because I actually have a friend who started supplementing, and she had Hashimoto's, and it's very dangerous to supplement with iodine when you have Hashimoto's, and that can really cause some serious problems. So it's so helpful, so helpful to have guidance. And that's why I recommend working with Don Bennett. I don't get anything from him for plugging him here. I just really appreciate his wisdom and his guidance and the help that he offers with this kind of testing. And I think it's really important to have someone like him on your side going through this process. If you would like to work with Don, or you'd like to learn more information about him, you can visit his website at health101.org to find out more information. Go to his consulting page and you can find out if he would be the right person to work with for you. Now that I'm getting much closer to total body sufficiency of iodine, I'm definitely noticing a general overall better feeling that I was feeling around the time when I first started this process. I really started to notice a decline in my motivation. I wasn't sleeping as well, and just not feeling motivated and energized. I definitely went through some detox experiences during this process. I noticed that there were times when I was so tired, so tired, and I just needed to sleep. During the day, there would just be times where I just needed to lay down and take a nap because I just felt so exhausted as the bromine and the fluoride were being flushed out of my body. There were times when I had severe anxiety and just felt really agitated and uncomfortable. But you know what? It didn't last that long, and it was so worth it to get to this point where I am just feeling so much better. Same with getting my vitamin D levels up. I think that really makes a big difference too. So I'm sleeping better, I'm definitely more motivated, definitely have more energy, and feeling much more like myself again, which is a really great feeling. Now, as I mentioned in a previous video, I talked about my eye dryness at night. When I go to sleep at night, I would have severe eye dryness, and while that started to really go away for quite some time. It was improving, and then all of a sudden it came right back and it got really bad again. But now it kind of seems like it's starting to improve. So I don't know if that's part of getting the iodine sufficiency up to where it needs to be, if the levels can kind of bounce around with certain areas and certain things can get better and then kind of not be better. I don't know how that works, but I will definitely keep you posted. It's not quite as bad as it was when it took a major drop in improvement, but it does seem to be better than it was at that point. It's just very interesting. Now, as far as supplementing goes, I do fully believe in supplementing. I've seen this for myself with the issues that I've had. I obviously needed supplementing, and I think it's so important not to be dogmatic or really strict in your beliefs about any particular diet that you're on. I think it's so important to be flexible, and if you're having problems, to be willing to make the changes and to take the steps that you need to take in order to have vibrant health. And if that means supplementing and not having to eat cooked food or not having to eat animals, then I'm all for that. I do supplement every day with Daily Green Boost. It's barley grass juice powder. I take a heaping tablespoon twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. And that is loaded with vitamins and minerals and necessary nutrients to keep me on track. Because our soils, they may not be the best. The farming practices may not be the best. They may not be adding all the nutrients that the soil really needs and the plants really need. So I'm okay with supplementing. It allows me to stay on this raw vegan path that I absolutely love. I also supplement with vitamin B12 every day, just so that I don't have any issues like I was having before. I supplement with vitamin D because as I saw on my tests, I was incredibly low. I also take other supplements based on what was recommended to me by Don Bennett. That includes the iodine and some of the supplements that go with taking iodine. And I encourage you to get tested so that you know what your levels are and to work with somebody like Don who can guide you in what the right things for you to take would be. Please do not take supplements based on my results, based on what I'm taking and based on what my body is telling me I need, because you're going to probably need something completely different. You're going to need different doses. You're going to need different supplements. You may not need any supplements at all, which is why it's so important to get tested. But I think it's so important for everybody to know that you can thrive on a raw vegan diet. And hey, you may need to supplement, and that's okay. Don't let anybody tell you that you don't have to supplement or that you shouldn't supplement. Be vigilant. Get your own tests done and find out what you need based on your diet, what you're eating, and how your body functions. We're all different and we all need different things. But don't be so dogmatic in your practices or in your dietary lifestyle that you create problems for yourself. I want you to thrive and I want you to be happy and I want you to feel really, really good because you deserve that and that's your birthright. But because we're all different, we all need different things. We all come from different dietary backgrounds. We all come from different stress levels and different activity levels and a whole lot of difference. So be sure to find out exactly what your body needs. The next test I'll be getting is called the Heidelberg test. This test is a test for low stomach acid. And I'll be getting that this week, so be sure to stay tuned for more information on that coming up in a future video. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to share it if you think it will be helpful to others. And if you want to see future videos from me, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.